Guys, welcome back to YT Classroom. I hope you all are doing well. So today we have got another video of Edexcel Pearson Edexcel International Advanced Level Papers. This is the paper WMA12, which is basically the paper 2 for International Advanced Subsidiary Math. And this is a 75 mark paper. This is a compulsory unit of your AS level and your entire A level math paper from Edexcel. 75 mark paper for 1 hour 30 minutes, and you're allowed to use calculators in this. In this specific paper, there are 10 questions, and I'm going to take a look at each of these questions and explain it to you in detail. If you're new to the channel, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more upcoming and helpful videos for IGCSE as well as AS level papers. And make sure to share this with your friends as well. If you have any doubts or suggestions, please do not hesitate to comment down below. Alright, now let's quickly move on to the first question of this paper. The first question, it says it's about arithmetic series. An important thing, there's a formula booklet which has been provided with this paper which you can find online, and I'll be attaching a link to that in the description below. So most of the formulas for this like throughout the questions will be from that book, so please do refer to that book when you're solving this paper, and you'll be given that book in your exam as well. Okay, now the arithmetic series S is given by S is 2 plus 5 plus 8 plus something, and the last term is 254. Find the number of terms in this series. All right, now if I use my formula booklet, I know that there's a particular formula given, which is that any term that I want to find is equivalent of a plus n minus 1 into d. So this is the formula, that is un refers to any term I want to find is equivalent to the first term, which is a, plus n minus 1. For example, if I want to find the 17th term, so I will take this value as 17 minus 1, which is 16, into d, which is the common difference, which is the difference between the two terms. It's an arithmetic series. The common difference here is basically 3 because we're adding 3 every time. And I know the last term is 254. So if I check this, 254 is my last term, is equivalent of the first term, which is 2, plus n minus 1. I do not know how many terms are there. This is what I want to find. And the common difference is basically 3. All right. The n value that I get here will be the total number of terms because 254 is the last term. So then it's just simple algebra. 254 is 2 plus 3n minus 3. 254 is equivalent of 3n. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. 255 is equivalent of 3n. And after that, basically, when you divide 255 by this, 255 by 3, you get n value as 85. And that's how easy this question was. It gives you how many marks? 2 marks. After that, it says find the sum of the series. To find the sum of the series, you can use two formulas, but I would prefer the simpler formula. Since we do know the first and the last term, it's going to be half of n value, which is 85. That refers to the number of terms that I have. Okay, let me write down the formula for you guys first. The formula is the sum of the terms is 1 by 2 n a plus l. So that is 1 by 2 into the value of 85 into what is the value of a here? The value of a is 2 and the last is 254. 2 plus 254. Simply put this in a calculator and you shall be able to get the answer. 1 by 2, 85, 2 plus 254 is equivalent of 10,880. And that's how you solve both of these questions. I hope this first question is clear. It was pretty easy. Now let's move on to the second question. All right. Now here we've got the second question. It's about binomial expansion. Find for the first 4 terms in ascending power of x of the binomial expansion of the giving each term in the simplest form. All right. Now this is a pretty easy question because we know how to use the calculator values, so we can easily find this. Obviously, the first term is going to be 2 raised to 8. Because the 2's power, they're going to start from the highest, that is 8, and go to 0. Whereas negative 5x is going to start out from 0 and add up to 8. Okay. 2 raised to 8 plus, I got to do now, this is basically, okay, let me write the C values as well. That is the choose values or NCR values that you can get from your calculator. So this one would be basically 8C0 because we're raising to the power 8, 8C0, which is basically 1. All right. So if I write down out here, 8C0 into 2 raised to 8, because that's going to be my first term, plus 8C1 into 2 raised to 7 because I'm going to reduce the power, and negative 5x raised to 1, which is simply negative 5x. Then 8c2 into 2 raised to 6 into negative 5x squared. Okay, and the last term is going to be, not the last term, last as per we asked for, because we only asked for 4 terms. So 8c3 into 2 raised to 5 into negative 5x cubed. Now remember, you cannot leave your answer in this form because the c values cannot be there. So just simply use your calculator, click 8, and then do shift and the symbol division symbol, which is in the Casio 991 EX model. Otherwise, you'll have to figure out how to get the c values from the calculator. All right, so 8c0 gives me 1, and 1 into 2 raised to 8 is simply 2 raised to 8, which is 256. So that's going to be my first term, 256. For the second one, I get 8c1. If I do 8c1, I basically get 8 into 2 raised to 7. What's that? If I do 8 into 2 raised to 7, that gives me, okay, 8 into 128. I have not multiplied it, and I have negative 5x here. I'm going to simplify it further. 8c2. Now what's 8c2? That is 28. So 28 into 2 raised to 6 into, now what is negative 5x squared? That's 25x squared. Okay, then I've got 8c3. What is 8c3? That's 56. 2 raised to 5. 2 raised to 5 is 32. Negative 5x cubed, that's going to be 125x cubed, but this is also going to be negative. All right. Okay, I've not simplified this part yet. 2 raised to 6. What's that? 2 raised to 6. Hold up. Yeah, 2 raised to 6 is 64, and 2 raised to 5 is 32. All right, now I'm going to simplify it further. 256 remains as it is, 256, plus what is 8 times 128 times negative 5? That gives me negative 5120. So I'm going to remove this plus sign and put negative 5120x plus 28 times, what is given? 64 times 25. That's 44,800 plus 44,800 into x squared. And the last one is basically 56 into 32 into negative 125, which gives me, the answer is obviously going to be negative. So negative of 224,000 x cubed. Okay, I hope this is clear. This gives you 4 marks. So always write it in the first in the same format. That is 8c0, 8c1, 8c2, 8c3. Then you keep factorizing. And if you go in step by step this wise, it will help to ensure that you're not making any mistakes with the sign. Okay, now the second part. The expansion is to be used to find an approximation for 2.05 raised to 8. State the value of x should be used. Now our formula gives basically this expansion, but it is 2 minus 5x. Here it is 2.05. So in order to find the value of x, we just equate 2 minus 5x to 2.05, which is very easy. 2 minus 5x equivalent of 2.05. All right. So when I do 2 minus 2.05, it was equivalent of 5x. 2 minus 2.05 divided by 5. Basic no. So I get that 5x is equivalent of negative 0.05. And if I do this negative 0.05 divided by 5, I would get the x value as negative 0.01. So this is how you solve it. Okay, I hope this is clear. First of all, you got the a values and then simply just equate 2 minus 5x to raise to 2.05. Just a bit of logic. That's why it's only 1 mark. And they've already said there's no need to carry out this calculation. All right. I hope this question is clear. Now let's move on to the next question. All right. Now what does the next question say? The next question says that figure 1 shows an open-topped container which is used for holding water. The dimensions are given as 3x into x into y. The container is in the shape of a cuboid made of metal sheet. The base of the container of the rectangle 3x by x and the height is y. Given that the capacity of the container is 120 meter cubed, show that the area meter square of the sheet metal used to make this container is given by A is px square plus q over x, where p and q are positive constants to be found. Now, how will you find how much of the metal sheet has been used to basically make this cuboid? Remember, there's no top. So we need to take two of these ones, which are xy, like this side and this side, which are xy. Imagine 3D. 1 into like the base, which is 3x into x, and also the other side, which will be 3x into y. So 2 of 3x into y and 2 of x into y, and only 1 of 3x into x. Okay, let me just show you how it's done. So we will know that the surface area, which I'm going to write it just as area, will be equivalent of the first of all the base, which is 3x into x. Only one base is there, there's no top. And there'll be two vertical ones, so 2 into xy, which are on the sides. And there'll be two of the longer vertical ones, which are 3x into y, plus 2 of 3x into y, 2 of 3x into y. Just take your time, maybe take a pause and learn that how I've gotten these values. They're very simple 3D geometry. After that, I can just factorize, expand this, so 3x squared plus 2xy plus 6xy. So the area is basically, the surface area is 3x squared plus 8xy. All right. Now, if I see the formula that is given, they have not used any y terms. So I need to ensure that this cannot have any y terms. And how can I ensure that? Remember that the information given here, given that the capacity is 120 meter cubed. And we know the capacity is basically the length into the width into the height. So 3x into y is basically 120, isn't it? So 3x into x into y is 120, which gives me 3x squared y is 120. So if I can basically factor, like expand y, or factorize y and move 3x squared to the other side, it's going to be 120 over 3x squared. And then now if I substitute in this part into my original equation, so I would get area is 3x squared plus 8x, and instead of y, now I'm going to put 120 over 3x squared. All right. Now when I put this, I'm going to get 3x squared. What is 8 times 120 divided by 3? That's basically 320. And I have 1x at the top and x squared at the bottom, so I can cancel out 1x from each side, and there'll only be 1x left at the bottom, so 320 over x. I hope this is clear. This is how I've gotten this. And if I check the format now, px squared plus q over x. Px, which is p's, will be 3 and q will be 320. That's easy. Now it says that use the calculus to find out the value for x for which a has a stationary value. Use the calculus to find the value for x for which the a has a stationary value, giving answer to three significant figures. So they're asking us that if a is a stationary value, then what will be the value of x? Remember, stationary value, I can do the derivative, which is dy by dx. Dy over dx of this function, basically, like the one function over here that we have done previous part. This function, if I do dy over dx, 2 into 3 will be 6, and I will be left with x. Now I have 320 over x, right? So if I move the x power to -1, if I just show you here, it would be 320 x raised to -1, right? This can be written as this. And now I can multiply 320 and x would be raised to x raised to -2, which is equivalent of -320 over x squared, because I can just move it at the bottom. All right, it's going to be -6x minus 320 over x squared. Please do learn this working, because you'll use it at many places throughout your exam. Okay, all right. Now I know that this is the derivative function, and for a stationary value, this has to equal to 0. So 6x minus 320 over x squared is basically equivalent of 0. All right. Now if I want to get x, I can multiply everything by x squared so that I can get rid of the denominator of x squared. So 6x, or I can simply do 6x is equivalent of 320 over x squared. So that's one way I can do it. After that, I can multiply the x squared with 6, so that will give me 6x cubed is equivalent of 320, and x cubed will be 320 over 6. Now I can simply use my calculator and calculate the root of this, the cube root in fact. That is 320 over 6. What would that give me if I do the cube root of 320 divided by 6 to use my calculator? I would get the x value as 3.76. So this is the x value for which I would get a stationary value for a, and the answer is given in 3 significant figures. So I've given an answer in 3 significant figures. First, you find the derivative, you equate the derivative to 0 and find the value of x. Okay, now it says then find d2a over dx squared, hence show the value of x found in part B gives the minimum value of a. Now, since I do have to use this value again, I'm going to write the full value here just to ensure. It's not necessary, you can just save it in your calculator, but just to ensure you have a full value. 3.764144,116. Alright, now they're saying find d2a over dx. Now, d2a over dx basically means that I find the derivative of 6x minus 320 over x squared. So d2a over dx is going to be basically, now what's the derivative of 6x? X raised to 1, now x will be raised to 0, and I'll only have 6. And remember, now I have negative 320 over x squared. So if I find the working for that, negative 320 over x squared can be given as negative 320 into x raised to negative 2. If I multiply negative 2 with negative 320, that's going to give me 640, and x will be raised to negative 3, so that will be 640 over x cubed, right? 640 over x cubed. If I put this here now, 6 plus, what is it? 640 over x cubed. Now, if I put this value of 3.76 in this is going to be 6 plus 640 over 3.764144, the whole answer that I got in there, 116, the whole value cubed. It's going to give me this answer, which is 6. Okay, hold on, let me take this value. Yeah, 6 plus 640 over my answer value cubed. It's going to give me 18, right? And 18 is positive, hence it's a minimum. 18 is greater than 0, hence the x value is minimum. So basically, when you find double derivative and then you put the x coordinates of the stationary point in the double derivative, if it's positive, that stationary point is a minimum point. However, if it's negative, that stationary point is a maximum point. And by doing this, we are done with question number 3. Now we'll move on to question number 4. All right. So we have got question number 4. In this question number 4, it says that given that in a particular geometric series, the sum of the first 3 terms is 70.2 and the sum to infinity is 75. Okay, I probably use some formulas here. Okay, yeah. The sum of the first 3 terms is 70.2 and the sum of the infinity is 75. Find the common ratio. Okay, now there are 2 formulas to remember here. The sum of the terms in a geometric series given by a into 1 minus r n over 1 minus r. And the sum to infinity, on the other hand, is given by a over 1 minus r, but only for the r value being less than 1. The absolute value of r should be less than 1. So we know that there is a sum to infinity given, so obviously it's going to be less than 1. After that, I don't have my first term. Okay, I'm going to write it like this. And I know it's going to be 1 minus r cubed. The r is the thing they're trying to find, that is a common ratio. And the first 3 terms, so r cubed over 1 minus r is equivalent to what? 70.2, right? 70.2 is this. And if I check this, it's going to be 75 is equivalent to the a value over 1 minus r. Now there are 2 unknowns here, but if you see this part, that is basically 70.2 is equivalent to 1 minus r over a, which is the same as this part, right? I can just substitute, right? Can't I? So I can write 70.2 is equivalent of 75 into 1 minus r cubed. All right. So I hope you got in that how I've done the substitution. This is a bit of logic required in this question. Otherwise, you will not be able to solve this question. Then 1 minus r cubed would be 70.2 divided by 75. So I would get that 1 minus 70.2 over 75 is equivalent of r cubed. And in order to find the value of r, I would simply do the root of, in brackets, 1 minus 70.2 divided by 75. So if I do, the issue should be the cube root, in fact. The cube root of 1 minus 70.2 divided by 75, that gives me 0.4. So the common ratio r is 0.4, and it is correct because it's less than 1. Again, you write both the formulas, then you substitute 75 into the first equation, and that's how you get this answer. Now it says first term. Find out the first term. This is pretty easy. To find out the first term, I could simply use this formula, that is 75 into 1 minus 0.4, and I'd get 45. Yeah. So basically, I will simply use this formula, that sum to infinity is a over 1 minus r. Sum to infinity is a over 1 minus r. I know the value of r, and I know sum to infinity as well. What's the sum to infinity? It's 75. 75 into 1 minus 0.4 is equivalent of 45. So my first term is obviously 45. And this is how easy this question was. With this, we are done with question number 4, and we get 6 marks for this question. Now let's move on to question number 5. Okay, it says that given that there's an expression given f of x is 3x cubed plus ax squared minus 10x plus b, where a and b are constants but are unknown to us. It says that 3x minus 4 is a factor of f of x. Show that 16a plus 9b is 56. Easy. Now, basically, whenever a factor is given, just equate it to 0 first. 3x minus 4 is equivalent of 0. So x is obviously going to be 4 by 3, right? X is going to be 4 by 3. And then, basically, you're trying to find the value of x. Now, if I put this value of x into the original expression, I should get 0. So 3 into 4 by 3 cubed, because that's what it says, 3 into 4 by 3 cubed, 3x cubed, plus ax squared. So a into 4 by 3 square plus, okay, it's minus 10x. So minus 10 into 4 by 3 plus the value of b. This is going to be 0. Now what is 3 into 4 by 3 cube? That's going to be 64 over 9. And 4 over 3 square is 16 over 9a. 16 over 9a. Wait. 3 into 4. Okay, that's correct. 16 over 9a. Minus 10 into 4 by 3. What's minus 10 into 4 by 3? That's going to be minus 40 over 3. Plus b is basically going to be equivalent of 0. Alright, I've got 16 over 9a here. 16 over 9a. And I've got b as well. If I move the 40 over 3 and 64 over 9 to the other side, I would get 40 over 3 minus 64 over 9. Just change the signs. It is equivalent of 56 over 9. Now to get rid of the denominators of 9, I can multiply everything by 9. 16 over 9a multiplied by 9 would be 16a. b with 9 would be 9b is equivalent of 56. And with this, we come to the same as given, so we get 2 marks for this. Given further that when f of x is divided by x by 2, the remainder is b, find the value of a and find the value of b. Now basically, if you want to find, anytime you want to find the remainder, you just use the value of x minus 2. That is, x is equivalent of 2 in this equation, and whatever answer you get, that's your remainder. So x minus 2 is 0 now. X minus 2 is equivalent of 0. So x is going to be 2. And they say that when I plug this in, so 3 into 2 cube plus a into 2 square minus 10 into 2 plus b, the remainder that it gives us is also, what is it called? It's called b. This is basically the remainder theorem, that whenever you put this value and what answer you get, that will be the remainder when you do the long division. Now what's 3 into 2 cube? 3 into 2 cube. That's going to be 24 plus 4a minus 20 plus b is equivalent of b. Okay, now what's, if I can cancel out b, and 24 minus 20 is 4. So 4 plus 4a, if I move this b to the other side, it will be 0. So 4 plus 4a is basically 0. And 4a is equivalent of negative 4. So a is negative 1. Now it won't be hard to find b. You know why? Because I can simply use my original equation. Or I can also use this equation, the first one, that is 16a plus 9b is 56. So I know that 16a plus 9b is 56. So b is going to be 56 minus 16 into the value of a. What is the value of a? Negative 1 divided by 9. Alright. 56 minus 16 into negative 1 divided by 9. The value of b given is 8. So I've got a value of a as -1 and b is 8. After that, it says, hence, using algebra, fully factorize f of x. Now I simply use long division here. First of all, I would write my whole expression on one side. What is my whole expression? It's 3x cubed minus x squared, because it was just -1, minus 10x plus 8. And what is one like factor of this? It says that 3x minus 4 is a factor, right? So I'm just going to put 3x minus 4. Now what do I need to, okay, this is 3x cubed. Okay, 3x cubed minus x squared minus 10x plus 8. What do I need to multiply with x to get 3x cubed? X squared. So I'm going to multiply this x squared. 3x into x squared is 3x cubed, and x squared into -4 is -4x squared. Now when I do -1, -4, I would get 3. So when you subtract these both, you're going to get 3x squared minus 10x. Now x times x, right? If I multiply this with x, so it's going to be 3x squared minus 4x. Okay, -10, -4 is going to be -6. All right, so this is going to be -6x plus 8. 3 into -2, right? So 3 into -2 is -6x. -4 into -2 is +8. And therefore, we have fully factorized this. So we can write that f of x is equivalent of 3x minus 4 into x squared plus x minus 8 minus 2, right? X squared plus x minus 2. Now I can write x squared plus x minus 2, x squared plus x minus 2 as, just simply go to your calculator and get the factors for this. 1x squared plus 1x minus 2. It's 1 and -2. So opposite signs, x minus 1 and x plus 2. So therefore, f of x can be wholly factorized as 3x minus 4, x minus 1, and x plus 2. And this is how you get the answer to this question. I hope this part is clear. I'm just going to go through again. First of all, we just put the value of x of 4 by 3 and we get the 16a plus 9, which is 56. Then we get the remainder, which is b when you put -2, when you put 2. And then because we know one factor, we know the whole expression, we can fully factorize this expression. With this, we are done with question number 5, I believe. And this is how many marks? This is roughly 9 marks, a very important question. Now the next question is about circles. So here it says that the point A, which is -1 and 2, and the point B, which is 11, 6, they both lie on a circle with the center P. The point M is the midpoint of AB. Given that the line AB, the point M is midpoint, given that the line L passes through M and P as shown. Okay, so line, basically on a circle there are 2 points A and B, and there's a line AB which is like a chord, and there's another line which is line L that is passes through the chord and to the center of the circle. So obviously this is an important property of circles. If there's a line passes through the chord and passes into a circle, then it's 90 degrees to them. 90 degrees to these. Given the line passes through M and M, find an expression for L giving answer in the form y is equal to mx plus c. First of all, I need to find the coordinates of M. How will I find the coordinates of M? It's a midpoint, right? So the coordinates of M are going to be, what are the x coordinates of A and B? -1 and 11. So -1 plus 11 divided by 2, comma, what are the y coordinates of them? 2 plus 6. 2 plus 6 divided by 2. -1 plus 11 is 10, and half of 10 is 5, and 2 plus 6 is 8, and half of that is 4. Okay, now what is the gradient of the line AB? I need to know what is the gradient of line AB. So M of the line AB, which is basically the gradient, is going to be 6 minus 2, because y2 minus y1 over 11 minus -1. 11 minus of -1. Put this in your calculator, and I'm going to get 6 minus 2 over 11 minus -1. That's going to give me 1 by 3. Now, since the line L is perpendicular to this, the gradient will be negative reciprocal. So the gradient of the line L is -3. The gradient of the line L is basically -3, because the reciprocal of 1 by 3 is 3, and negative would mean -3. After that, we need to know it passes to the point M, right? So when I know the equation is going to be y is equivalent of -3x plus c. And what is the y value? 4 when x is 5. So 4 is equivalent of negative 3 into 5 plus c. 4 plus 3 into 5. So c is 19. Right? C is 19. And therefore the equation is y is equivalent of negative 3x plus 19. Negative 3x plus 19. I hope this question is clear. So first of all, we are finding the value of m. Then you find the gradient of the line AB, and we know that the line is perpendicular because it's a coordinate that passes the center of the circle. So we can find the gradient, and obviously with that, we have 1 point near the gradient. We can find the y-intercept and the equation of the line. Given that the p has the coordinate 7k, where k is a constant, find the value of k. Now we already know the equation of the line. We know the x coordinate, simply asks us to find the y coordinate. So y is negative 3 into the value of 7 as they have asked, plus 19. Negative 3 into 7 is going to be negative 21, plus 19 is negative 2. So the value of k is basically negative 2. So we're done to the second part as well. Now it says that find the equation for the circle. Now the equation for the circle is often given by this: x minus a square plus y minus b square is equivalent of r square, where there's a and b are a certain point on the circumference of a circle. All right. If I take any point I know for now, let's say, no, in fact, A and B are the center of the circle. It's not any point, sorry. These are the center of the circle. Now, in my circle, the center value is basically going to be P, which is 7 and negative 2. P value is basically 7 and negative 2. And also know that B is 11, 6. So I can easily find out my values of A and B because I know the value of the P, and this is the center. But how will I find the radius? The radius is going to be any distance from P to B, from P to A, any of these distances. I've chosen the distance from P to B. In order to find the distance from P to B, it's going to be the root of y2 minus y1 square plus x2 11 minus 7 square. Just using its coordinates, put this in a calculator. The root of 6 minus 2 square plus 11 minus 7 square. That's going to be 4 root 5. All right. So this is your radius. Now, if I want to find the equation, x minus a square. The value of a is 7, so x minus 7 square. Y minus b square. But remember, the b value is negative, so it's going to be y plus 2 square is equivalent of the 4 root 5 the whole square. 4 root 5 the whole square is basically 80. So this is how I find the value of that. The center value is given, the radius I can calculate it, and that's how you get the whole answer. I hope this question is clear to you guys as well. Now we'll be moving on to question number 7, is what I believe. Yes, question number 7. Okay. The table shows the values of x and y, where y is log 10, which is basically ln. Log base 10 is ln, for x values between negative 1 and 4. Use the trapezium rule with all the y values in the given table. Show that the integral of between negative 1 and 4 of log 10 of x plus 5, which is basically this, is roughly log 10 of k. Now, what does this mean? This basically means that they've drawn a graph with x and y values as such, and they're trying to find the area under the graph using the trapezium rule. The formula for the trapezium rule is given in the paper. I'll just write it down here, that in the first part, it's going to be b a y of dx is roughly equal to half of h into, there are curly brackets, which means that this will be multiplied the last, y0 plus y1 plus 2 times y1 plus y2, and keep adding them on until you get y, the second last term, not the last term. And you're going to close the curly brackets it and then multiply. And how do you find the h value? The h value is basically b minus a over n. All right, b minus a over n, where b refers to your last x value and a is your first x value divided by n. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my h value. That's going to be 4 minus 1 divided by how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, the h value for me is only 1 because we're only going to be 5 trapeziums. There are going to be 6 because just think of it. two of them will get 1. So there's going to be like 1 less than all the values suggested here. That's why we have 5 trapeziums. So h is going to be 4 minus minus 1 divided by 5, which is equivalent of 1, right? After that, what you do is you simply put these values and substitute them. Half of 1, half of 1, and then I put in the curly brackets. I have log 4. Basically, I'm going to ignore the log 10 part because log 10 is basically ln, right? Log, you can do log 4 and base 10 is same as ln of 4. No, is it? Okay, it's not the same. But we can write it as like this, ignoring all the 10s because all the terms are the same. It's going to be half of log 4. Wait, hold on. How do you get natural of this? Log 4. Yeah, so my bad. It's not about ln, it's actually just log. So on your calculator, which is FX991EX, if you click shift and then 3 keys under that, which is a negative sign given, you get something which is called as log without a base, log, just without a base. And then if I put the log 4, I would get the same value as log base 10 of 4. Okay, so I'm just going to write this as like this: log of 4 plus log of 9. Okay, these were just one of the, like the first ones, log 4 and the log 9. As this one is done and this one is done. And then the center ones have to be added twice. So 2 times log 5 plus log 6 plus log 7 plus log 8, right? And obviously the whole thing is going to be in your curly brackets because multiplied by half. I can still say it's going to be half into 1. Now remember, log 4 into log 9 is same as log 4 into, because it's the same base, you can multiply them. So this is going to be log of 36 plus, if I do this now, what is log 5 plus log 6 plus log 7 plus log 8? When you're adding them again, you can multiply. So 5 into 6 into 7 into 8, that gives me 1680. So 2 times the log of 1680. All right, and again, the whole thing is outside there. Okay. After that, what I can do is I can write this down as half into 1 log of 36. Now 2 is outside. I can simply write it as 1680 squared, right? Because when 1680 squared, if I want to simplify it, I just bring that square in outside and multiply it rather. So I can write this as log of 1680 squared, and I can get somewhat like this. After that, it can be half into 1 is simply half. And now again, they're the same basis. I can multiply 36 into 1680 squared. So it is going to be half of log of basically 101606 400. And now again, there's half outside. I can raise this whole number to half, which is basically square rooting it to get the simplest form. So log of 101606 400 raised to 0.5. What is that equivalent of? Basically the log of, I'm not putting log in the calculator, I'm only putting the value and raised to 0.5, that is log of 10,080. And I think this is what they've asked us in simplest terms, log base 10 of k. So the k value is going to be 10,080. I hope this is clear how we have done this. We have to use the trapezium rule, and then we're just simplifying using the log rules, which is that log a plus log b, where the bases are the same, is same as log the same base into ab. And also if there's a multiplication outside, you can raise it to a power inside. All right, now I guess we have a second question here, which is find the value of a such that 2 log 5 base 5 minus a minus log 5 a plus 25 is 1. All right, this is again not that difficult of a question, although it is how many marks? It is 5 marks. Okay, so it might be a bit difficult. 2 log 5 into 5 minus a minus log 5 into a plus 25 is equivalent of what? Is equivalent of 1. All right, now first of all, I'm going to remove this 2. Log 5 of 5 minus a the whole squared. I can again take it minus log 5 of a plus 25 is equivalent of 1. Now, since you're subtracting two things which have the same base, I can write this down as division. So log 5 of 5 minus a squared, the whole square, over a plus 25. Yeah, okay, that would be better to put square brackets. Because when you're subtracting something with the same basis, same as division. So what does this tell me? This tells me that if I raise 5 raised to 1, it is equivalent of 5 minus a squared over a plus 25, right? So I can write this down as 5a plus 125 is equivalent of, no. 5a plus 125 is equivalent of 25 minus 10a plus a squared. After that, we have a squared. We're going to simplify it, and then minus 10a minus 5 is minus 15a. 25 minus 125 is negative 100. This is equivalent of 0. I can simplify this by writing as a minus 20 into a plus 5 is equivalent of 0, and therefore I get the values of a as 20 and a as basically negative 5. Now there's only going to be one value since they have asked find the value of a, not the values. Okay, now if I do, basically sometimes what happens is that you can't actually do the log. So just check in both cases. 2 log 5 of 5 minus 20. Is that possible? No. Basically, when you do 5 minus 20, it's going to give you a negative number. 5 minus, and log of that negative number is not actually possible. All right. So this is why you cannot use 20 and you have to use negative 5. Although many people would just see a positive answer and they would go the positive answer, it's not actually positive, it's negative. Again, explanation of why we don't use 20 is 5 minus 20 is negative 15, and 2 log 5 of basically negative 15 is not possible. Log of negative numbers is not possible. Alright, so we're done with question number 7, and now we'll be moving on to question number 8. Here we have question number 8. The student says that if x and y are irrational numbers, then x is not equivalent to y. And if x is not equivalent to y, then xy is also irrational. This is question number 8. Show by counterexample that this statement is not always true. Now, a counterexample basically means that you show one case scenario where x and y are both irrational numbers, you take such values, and x is not equivalent to y, but then the answer you get of xy is rational, not irrational. So what I got was that if I take root 2, which is irrational again, and root 8 are irrational. Irrational basically means something which is, if you take it in decimals, it's neither repeating nor ending. Non-terminating, does not end, and neither does it repeat. So root 2 into root 8, if you take in a calculator, root 2 into root 8 is basically 4, which is rational because it is repeating, it's not repeating, like it does not repeat forever, neither it just terminates. So it is obviously a rational number, and hence this statement is not always true. Next statement says that prove using algebra that for all odd integers n, the value of an expression n cubed plus 3n plus 2 is always even but never a multiple of 4. For this, what I'm going to do is let's say k. Let k be a natural number. So k can be any, like basically odd number that we have. And if we take that 2k plus 1, any number that we have, if we multiply it by 2, it'll give an even number. If we add 1 to that, it's obviously odd. So is always odd. Okay, because k is a natural number, 2 times k will also be an even number, and add 1 to that, adding 1 to any even number is basically odd number. Now if I replace n with 2k plus 1, I'm going to get 2k plus 1 cubed plus 3 times 2k plus 1 plus 2. 2k plus 1 cubed plus 3 times 2k plus 1 plus 2. What does this give you? 8k cubed plus 12k squared plus 6k plus 1, because simple, basically 2 raised to 3 is 8k cubed, and then we have 12k squared plus 6k plus 1 when I simplify it, and 3 into 2 will also be 6k plus 3 into 2, which is 3 plus 2. If you're not sure how to expand your like the raised to 3 terms, the cubic terms, you write it down as one term separated and square it and then cube it. Don't make any mistakes, because I'm doing it because I've done this many times. So if you might not be sure with the same method. After that, you have 8k cubed, you have 12k square, and you have 12k, and you also have 6. Right? So this is what it means when I put an odd term in this expression. I could get something like this, where k is actually a natural number. I can write this down as 4 into 2k cubed plus 3k square plus 3k plus 1. But when I do 4 into 1, it only gives me 4, so I can add 2. Now, obviously, any number multiplied by 4, it will give you an even number. Adding 2 to that's always even. But this is not a multiple of 4. As you saw, the 2 had to be separate, so it's not a multiple of 4. Hence, even. Basically, why it is even? Because you can multiply with 4 and add 2. So, hence, even. But not a multiple of 4. Because 2 is not a multiple of 4. But not a multiple of 4. Now, proof questions, they require a bit of understanding, a bit of logic that what could actually prove it. It's not always about a certain technique. So the maximum you can do is try to think and do as many questions as you can on these types of questions. All right, now we'll move on to question number 9, which I believe is the second last question of this paper. Okay, this is the 12-mark question. Figure 3 shows the sketch of a part of a curve with the equation y is equivalent of 9x squared 5 minus root x, the whole divided by 5, where x is greater than or equal to 0. The curve has a turning point at the point M. Using calculus, find the coordinates of M. There's a turning point here. What's the turning point? Dy by dx, the turning point is 0. All right. So if I check this, now what's my expression? Y is equivalent of 9x squared. Wait, hold on. I have y is equivalent of 9x squared into 5 minus root x. 5 minus root x over 5. Now this is clearly not simplified. So the first thing would be to simplify this. I can write y is 9 into 5 is 45. So 45x squared minus 45x squared minus 9 times x raised to, this is 2 and this is half, so 2.5 divided by 5. How to get 2.5? I added the 2 with the power half, which is basically square root. 45 divided by 5, that's 9x squared. And what is 9 divided by 5? That's negative 1.8 x raised to 2.5. All right. Now, if I do the dy over dx, this is just a y. So dy over dx, which is gradient of this, it would be 18x minus, what is 2.5 into 1.8? 4.5. And x would be basically decreased. The power of x is decremented by 1. So is in this case, 2 into 9 is 18, x 1. 2.5 into 1.8 is 4.5, x comes down to 1.5. Now they're asking us that obviously the gradient has to go to be 0 at the x coordinate, right? So 18x minus 4.5 x raised to 1.5 is basically going to be equivalent of 0. All right. Now if it is 1.5, so 18x is equivalent of 4.5 into x raised to 1.5. 18 divided by 4.5. I'm going to put all the x terms on one side. X over 1.5 divided by x. Just moving it around. So what is 18 divided by 4.5? 18 divided by 4.5 is basically 4. Is equivalent of x 1.5 minus x is basically x raised to 0.5, which is root x. So if root of x is equivalent to 4, if I want to find the x, I have to square this. This is going to be 16. And this is how I find the value of x. The value of x is going to be 16. Pretty easy, I would say. Okay, coordinates, obviously. So when you put the coordinates, you need to get the y coordinate as well. In order to get the y coordinate, I'm going to do 9 into 16 squared, which is my original expression. 5 minus root of 16 divided by 5. What does that equal to? So 9 into 16 squared, 5 minus root 16 divided by 5 is equivalent of 460.8. So I can call this as basically the point M. It has the coordinates of basically 16 and 460.8. Next part. The curve crosses the x-axis at the point P as shown in figure 3. Use algebra to find the x-coordinate of P. So basically we need to find a point where the y is 0. Again, simple, just take your original expression, which is 9x squared. 0 is equivalent of 9x squared, 5 minus root of x divided by 5. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm finding a value of x for which the y value is 0. So in this case again, because 5 into 0 is 0, so I can simply say that 0 is equivalent to 45x squared minus 9x raised to 2.5. If I rearrange this now, so I can get that 45x squared is same as 9x raised to 2.5, right? I know that 45 and 9 both can be divided with, let's say 5, no, with 3. Now 45 divided, yeah, 45 can be divided with 9 itself. So 45 divided by 9 is 5, so it's going to be written as 5x squared is equivalent of x raised to 2.5. All right, and 5 is equivalent of x raised to 2.5 over x squared. So 5 is equivalent of root of x, so the x is going to be 25. And if I find the value of x, does it say coordinates or just x coordinate? The x coordinate only. So we have found that this point is basically 25, and the other point was it was 16 and 460.8. 16, 16 and 460.8. This y value is also 25. Okay, the next part is, now as we can see in the part B, we have gotten the points of M, which is 16 and 460.8, and the point P, which is going to be 25, 25 and 0. Now we have part C, which is the finite region. We basically have to find the finite region R. Okay, now if I use integration and find the area under the curve between the point 16 and 25, I would get this area, right? And if I subtract this area with the area of the rectangle, which is from like 16 to 25 and the height of 460.8, I would get the area R. All right, this is what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to integrate this. So in order to integrate it, I have my upper boundaries set as 25 and 16, 25 and 16. Okay, so my boundaries are 25 and 16, and the equation of the curve is, what is it? It's 9x squared, 9x squared, 5 minus root of x divided by 5. Okay, I can write this down as 45x squared minus 9x raised to 2.5 divided by 5, which is same as 9x squared minus 9 over 5 is basically, you can say 9 over 5, just put it like this, and x raised to 2.5, and it still has to be integrated with the upper boundaries of 25 and 16. I'll just simplify it till now. Now, how do you integrate 9x squared? That's going to be 9 into x cubed divided by 3. If I have minus 9 over 5, it's going to be x raised to 3.5, x raised to 3.5 divided by 3.5, right? When I simplify this, it's going to be 3x cubed. And when I do negative 9 over 5 into 1 over 3.5, it gives me negative 18 over 35 x raised to 3.5. So this is how it's going to go. All right, this is the integrated form, and we don't need the value of constant c because we are doing with certain boundaries. Now I simply plug 25 into this one, 3 into 25 cubed minus 18 over 35 into 25 raised to 3.5 minus, now what I want to subtract is 3 into 16 cubed minus 18 over 35 into 16 raised to 3.5. I'm subtracting the whole thing just to make sure, avoid any confusion, that is. Okay, and then when I subtract this and put this in my calculator, 3 into 25 cubed minus 18 over 35 into 25 raised to 3.5, subtracted with 3 into 16 cubed minus 18 over 35 into 16 raised to 3.5, I would get basically 2834.485714. Write the full answer because you still have to use this value. So what I've gotten now right now is the area under this part, which is the shaded area that I've done. In order to find R, I need to find the height, basically the area of the whole rectangle, which is going to be 25 minus 16 into 460.8. 25 minus 16 into 460.8. 25 minus 16 into 460.8. That is going to be 4147.2. Just to explain you again what rectangle I'm talking about this rectangle. If I take the highlighter, so this rectangle, entire rectangle. Okay, now I just subtract the two values in order to find the value of the R. 4147.2 minus 2834.485714 is equivalent of, what is it that going to be equivalent of? Okay, this minus 2834.485714 It's equivalent of 1312.7. Is there any degree of specify, like a significant figure? It's one decimal place. Okay, so that's going to be 1312.7, and you don't need any units, although you can write units squared as well. I hope this question is clear. So first of all, using calculus, we basically dy over dx, and then we equate dy over dx to 0 to find the coordinates. The second point is the x coordinates, x interception, the y is going to be 0. And third one, the area under the curve. So obviously for that, you got to do the integral, and then you find the area under the curve, subtract with the area of the rectangle to find the area of R. Now I believe we're moving on to the last question, which is trigonometry, one of the my favorite topics, and indeed one of the easiest topics. Not easiest, but one of my favorite topics. Cos theta of 3 tan theta plus 2 over tan theta is just you just have to show that. Now we remember there's just three like lines here, so you cannot like do simple algebra moving left and right. We just have to equate one of this to the other. That is cos theta into 3 tan theta plus 2 over tan theta is equivalent of sin theta plus 2 over sin theta. It's pretty easy. Okay, let's start. Cos theta into 3 tan theta plus 2 over tan theta. All right, now what is it? That is basically what is I know that tan theta is basically equivalent of sine theta over cos theta, right? So I can say that tan theta into cos theta, which is the first part here, is equivalent of sine theta. So this would be 3 sine theta plus I'm going to have 2 cos theta over tan theta. 2 cos theta over tan theta. This is going to be 3 sine theta plus. Now, obviously, in my answer, I don't require any tan theta. So what I'm going to do is, rather than dividing by 2 tan theta, I'm going to say 2 cos theta divided by sine theta over cos theta. Okay. How did I get this? I'm dividing 2 cos theta divided by tan theta. But if I replace tan theta with sine theta over cos theta, I would get 2 cos theta divided by sine theta over cos theta. I just replace tan theta with sine theta over cos theta. Now 3 sine theta plus, obviously when you're dividing with fractions, you can just inverse the fraction, so cos theta would come to numerator, and this would become 2 cos squared theta, 2 cos squared theta divided by sine theta. Okay, now remember there's a property that sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equivalent to 1. So instead of writing cos squared theta, I can write 1 minus sine squared theta. 3 sine theta plus 2 into 1 minus sine squared theta divided by sine theta. Alright, this can be written as 3 sine theta plus 2 minus 2 sine squared theta divided by sine theta. Alright, after that what's going to happen is I have 3 sine theta plus 2 over sine theta minus 2 sine theta. And 3 sine theta, basically I'm splitting up this fraction with 2 over sine theta and negative 2 over sine theta, square over sine theta over sine theta, and then I cancel out the sine thetas, so I get 2 sine theta. After that, I have sine theta plus 2 over sine theta, because 3 sine theta minus 2 sine theta is sine theta plus 2, okay, 2 over sine theta, 2 over sine theta. All right, so we're done with this part. It's a bit long. Hence, solve from 0 to 2 pi the equation cos of x plus 3 tan x plus 2 over tan x. Now, if you see, this expression is always like the same as this. So they're indicating that we use this is equivalent of this. Okay, that's pretty easy as well. Part B. The first part is sine theta plus 2 over sine theta. Sine theta plus 2 over sine theta is same as 4 sine x minus 5. We don't have theta here, we have sine x. I'm going to replace all of these with sine x, sine of x. Okay, we have gotten this. Okay, now in order to get rid of the fraction, I'm going to multiply everything with sine. So sine square theta, sine square x plus 2 is equivalent to 4 sine square x minus 5 sine x. After that, I'm going to make it to 1. So 4 sine square x minus sine square x is 3 sine square x minus 5 sine x plus 2. I mean, no, minus 2. Minus 2 is equivalent to 0. 3 sine square x minus 5 sine x minus 2 is equivalent to 0. I can substitute sine x is equivalent to y and get an equation 3y squared minus 5y minus 2 is 0. When I put this in my calculator, solve this quadratic through any of the formats, I get that my sine x, basically my y values are 2 and negative 1 by 3. So sine x is equivalent of 2 or sine x is equivalent of negative 1 by 3. Now remember that the sine values can never be greater than 1 or less than negative 1. So we cross this part out and we only come down to this part, that is sine inverse is negative 1 by 3. Remember, it says the answer is supposed to be between 0 and 2 pi. So we're going to take our calculator to radians mode. Sine inverse of negative 1 by 3. Now, the value of sine inverse of 1 by 3 can be get into calculator. Sine inverse of negative 1 over 3. It gives you basically sine inverse of negative 1 by 3 is equivalent of negative 0.3398369095. Now I'll use a cost diagram to make this question clear to you. They have asked us that sine theta is negative 1 by 3 and one angle they've given us is this angle, which is negative 0.3398369095. So we need to find now the same, like the value of sine should be negative 1 by 3, but with the angles from 0 to 2 pi, from 0 to 360 basically, but in radians. So we know that the cost diagram, this angle will also be 0. Basically let's say 3398. So would this angle be, and so would this angle be. All of these angles would be equal. In order to find, now we know that sine inverse is negative 1 by 3, which is only in this quadrant, the third quadrant, and this quadrant, the fourth quadrant. So I know one of the angles is 0.3398369095. If I add 180 plus pi to that, basically from here, if I add pi, so I would get this third quadrant angle. That would be one of my answers. So 0.3398369095 plus pi. Okay, and when I add pi, my answer would be 3.48, which is in terms of this. So I've gotten one angle from 0 to 2, but that will give me negative 1.13, which is in third quadrant. Another would be basically this entire thing. You go all the way up to here, which is basically 2 pi minus this angle. So including this, I'm adding already this 0.339, which is a positive, and adding pi to that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 pi, which is the whole circle, and minus this angle, so that I can get this entire angle, which will take me to the fourth quadrant. 2 pi minus 0.3398369095 is equivalent of, if I take this answer, okay, multiply by negative 1 and then subtract it with 2 pi, multiplied with negative 1, then subtracted with 2 pi, I would get 5.94, and that would be my second answer to three significant figures. Again, what I've done is just to make it a bit more clear to you guys. Okay, why is the whole diagram out? I'm going to erase all the other things, or maybe draw one more diagram here. So what happened was that I had this angle given to me. This was given to me. So after that, I found this angle, which is like all of these angles would be the same. This angle, all of these are like say theta, which are same. And the sine value was negative, so it can only be in the third quadrant or in the fourth quadrant. So to the first quadrant angle, this is the first quadrant. I added 180 to get the third quadrant, that is pi. I added pi to get the third quadrant. And to get the fourth quadrant, what I did was I did 2 pi, which is 360, minus the pi value will give me the fourth quadrant angle. Alright, I hope this question is clear, and this topic requires a lot of practice. With this, we come to the end of this video. I hope this video was really helpful to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, please do not comment to post them down below, and I'll try to respond to them as soon as possible. If you have any suggestions for new videos, please put them down below as well. They'll be really helpful on deciding topics for the video. More videos are coming soon, so stay tuned and share this with your friends. Again, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and you can also say thanks by purchasing super thanks. I'll be super appreciating for that. Alright, see you in the next video. Bye.